Hey everybody, quick introduction here. I'm some dude with dolls. I live in Southern California and I've been collecting dolls since 2005. And the number of dolls that I have are probably over 200. I've lost count. And so, hi, that's me. I'm making this video because I have an Instagram dedicated to my doll photography, and I've been getting a lot of questions about a process of shrinking doll heads. Now, I have found a tutorial online that I based my process off of by Tuturial. I'm probably butchering that, but anyway, I will be posting a link to that tutorial for you guys to follow. So I will show you how I do it, but I will also include the tutorial that it's based off of so that you can follow along with them or also make your own adjustments to that tutorial as you see fit. So why am I shrinking doll heads, and what doll heads am I shrinking? Well, when the Ever After High dolls first came out, I fell in love with their promotional pictures, and the only place that they were available were the Justice stores, and my particular store didn't have them in stock yet, but they said that they were probably available online, and they were. But the only pictures that they had, like I said, were the promotional ones. So in the promo pics, which I still have the two that I downloaded at the time, and I will include them so you can see what I'm talking about. The heads seemed much smaller than they actually are on the doll. So when I ordered the four original Apple, Raven, Briar, and Madeline, when they arrived, I was somewhat disappointed with the huge doll head. So, just to show a few comparisons, here is the original sized Apple White head doll. And here is an Apple White doll that I shrunk the head. And you can see the difference there. And then here it is compared to a Monster High Elizabeth. I'll even include three of them. So you can see a big difference in the size of the heads. And I didn't like the roundness of them, so that's why I shrunk them to make them more proportionate to their bodies. And here's a Raven, the first wave that head that I shrunk. So now her and Dexter can go on dates without looking like a freak show. So that's why I shrink the doll heads, particularly the Ever After High dolls, just to give them a more proportionate look to their body and to their Monster High counterparts. There are other doll heads that you can shrink, Bratzillas, Live dolls, possibly even Bratz. I think the tutorial that I've linked or will be linking also covers that. So there's that. So now I'm going to show you a quick video of my process of how I get it done, and we'll go ahead and cue that up.
Okay, so this is the shrinking process. You definitely need at least one, what I use anyway, is a wide mouth mason jar, the pure acetone, and so what I use is Beauty Secrets. I get that from Sally's Beauty Supply. For a bottle this size, it's roughly $8. And I do usually buy the refillable bottle for 18, because if you're a customizer, acetone is your best friend. It helps remove makeup, the face paint, and all the other stuff on the dolls. But it's also a key ingredient to the shrinking process. So as you can see, I already have a doll in here that's been sitting in its soaking cycle for about 4 days. That's something you're going to have to experiment with and see what works for you. Each doll head, regardless, is unique and may require more or less soaking length. So some require being soaked in there 5 times, and etc., etc. Also, what you need for this process is I recommend a paper towel, somewhere to set the doll head on once you take it out. You're going to need something to remove it, so I use these needle nose pliers, but you can also use kitchen tongs as long as the end parts are metal and not plastic or any kind of plastic covering on them. So I'm taking her out now, and I'm doing it carefully. And you want to be patient because you don't want to mess anything up. And carefully touch them by the side of their head. Try not to touch the face because that can smear the paint. And drain it out. So that's Bunny Blank. Now this is the 2-pack dating one that I got. And so I'm shrinking her head. Okay, so another thing to remember is a blow dryer will be your best friend. A blow dryer is the easiest and safest way to get the doll head off of the body. Also, once these dry and they get much harder, in order to get them back on, I recommend using a blow dryer and aiming it towards the neck hole to soften it up. Now, as you can see right now, in its current state, it's very flimsy and squishy, and that will change as it dries. It will get much, much harder. Also, with the shrinking process, with the pure acetone, if you do shrink a doll head that has plastic eyes, such as like a Liv doll or a Bratzilla doll, you're going to want to remove the eyes before putting it in the acetone water mixture. And that's another thing, actually, I forgot to mention that. This isn't all pure acetone. I usually fill water up to the writing over here, and then the rest is acetone. And sometimes it does have discoloration. This is probably the last use of this jar that I'll be using of the mixture, and I'll carefully dump it and then refill it. Yes, to remove the eyes of the plastic eyes from the dolls, I recommend using a blow dryer and aiming it towards the eyes, and then again this will come in handy, and you'll just go in and pop the eyes out carefully, and then put them somewhere safe until the process is done. And another thing is you want to prep the doll head before you dip it in. So once you buy it, like for example, she came with gel in her hair, so you want to wash it with warm water and soap, squeeze dry it, and then it's good to go in the dip. Now another thing to remember is Each soaking cycle is different. For example, this is her third, I believe, time going in, and this time I did the soaking cycle for 4 days. But sometimes when as she dries, the closer to the size that I want her, the less I have to shrink it, or let her soak in acetone. And as you can see, she still looks kind of big, but she's probably close to the original size of the doll head right now, which means that she's getting closer to being smaller, because when you put the doll head in the first time, it will double in size. So it will expand first before it starts to shrink, which is why I suggest, and also in the tutorial, it suggests getting a big enough jar for it to have enough room to do the expansion. Also, I recommend a wide mouth mason jar because it has a bigger opening, so easier to get the doll in, and even more so to get the doll out.
Okay, so that's my process of shrinking doll heads. A few things to keep in mind after you're done. Once the doll head has dried completely, and if the process goes well or correctly, it will be much harder, almost like a golf ball. And with the ear piercings, if the doll had any, they will shrink as well. So what I recommend is you're going to have to re-pierce them. So use about a needle about this big, a sewing needle, and a lighter. And please be careful when you're doing this because it can be dangerous. But you just light up the tip carefully till it gets hot enough, and then you just go in and you just re-pierce it carefully. Now I already did it for her, so it's not really going to make much of a difference, but just to give you an idea, that way the hole's much bigger and she can wear, and not just her, but any of the dolls that require jewelry can now wear them again. Another thing to keep in mind also is once everything's done, you might want to recondition the hair, soften it up, and style it as you want. And another thing is, with the process, any sealant that the original manufacturer had put on will be gone. So where I get my sealant at, and maybe you guys have a different source, and feel free to comment that below too to help share information, but I go to dollyhair.com and I get the gloss, the semi-satin, and the matte sealants. And the semi-satin is perfect for like the eyeshadow, the lips, gives that shine, but it's not overly shiny. It's just like how the makeup would appear. I'll just try to show you that. So you can't really tell, but all the dolls have it. And then the gloss is perfect for the eyes to give that eye shine, and then the matte sealant is perfect for the eyebrows and any beauty marks that the doll might have. So to keep that in mind as well. And so I recommend once you do that and that dries, and that I would let it sit over at least a day, a full day, and then work on the restyling of the hair. And only one doll I have had that was an Ever After High doll that had problems was Ginger. Her hair got a little too fluffy, so keep an eye out on that and be careful with the doll hair. Also, another thing that you're going to want to do is in order to get the doll head on and off again, especially since it hardens, is the blow dryer. And again, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it. The blow dryer is your best friend of getting any doll head off its body. And so don't panic when the doll head hardens. It can soften up again with a blow dryer, just long enough for you to get it back onto the fish hook and the plastic awning. So that's it for the tutorial. Feel free to comment any questions you may have. If I forgot something, ask and I'll do my best to answer. Also, do check out the tutorial. That might also offer up answers that I may have forgotten to supply. And also, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you're interested in seeing future videos that I will be doing. I also ordered the 3 available Epic Winter dolls coming out. So I'll be getting them shortly, and I will do a review on them. Also, follow me on Instagram, and I will leave that on underneath, but it's the same name, some dude with dolls _ between each words. And thank you for watching.